Hello, this is a reply back to God and Jesus for you. That's number 4 and the letter U. You had some questions for me, but before I get on to those, let's just tell people about the background between us. We started discussing evolution and science in general, and obviously religion and the God that you follow about a year ago now. The debate was always on a sort of a good level. It wasn't nasty or anything like that. It was quite professional, and I quite conclusively showed you lots of evidence on evolution, and I did say to you had some bad teachings, and where some of your ideas came from was a very bad misconception of evolution, and getting scientific information and medical information as well from crazy young Earth creationist sites, which is insane. If you want to go and study biochemistry, you wouldn't go to a religious class to do so. Again, you can see my videos on education. I've got some on here. I've also got some about evolution and science as well, and also pathogens is a good one for you to have a look at as well, if anybody still doubts evolution. But let's not get into that realm of evolution at the moment, because you can check the videos out. So, okay, the question you really had for me was, why don't I believe in your particular God? No, don't get funny. I'm not just being, kind of singling out your God. All gods, because they're all equal with one another. You can't prove next God, Lord Krishna or Vishnu, any more feasible than your own God. Why do you accept your gods but you don't accept their gods? That's kind of an atheistic stand. I agree to that. That is a very typical kind of Professor Dawkins' view. But for me personally, knowing what I know about a good understanding of biology, I would expect my God, the God that I would follow, the God that I would endorse and love, to be, yes, he should be a biologist, he should be a chemist, a physicist, he should be all of those elements of science, but especially life sciences, which is something close to my heart. But when you understand and you kind of read the Bible, when you read literature on I don't know, Discovery Institute channel or one of those absolute ridiculous Answers in Genesis sites, it's just where they get all these evolution misconceptions from is beyond me. And even their own supporters who have degrees, PhDs, etc. Professor Behe, to name one of them, he stands up in a court of law with the evidence put in front of him, and he kind of shudders and shivers and says, "Oh, I didn't really say that evolution doesn't happen. Yes, I agree with evolution, and yes, I agree with common ancestry as well. And I also agree, I'm happy to agree with the age of the Earth being about 4.5 billion years old. I have no problems with any of those." And this is one of the main proponents of young Earth creationists, and he's turned around and saying he'd accept all the scientific facts. So, and it's kind of brushed those under the carpet. But my argument and my discussions are not with you with regards to that, because I have seen a change in you. When we first started off, you had some very bad ideas on what evolution does. I mean, I can't remember if it was you specifically, but that said, you don't get cats born from dogs and stuff like that, which is absolutely nonsense. That is the kind of croco-duck sort of hypothesis that you guys threw out there. And some of you actually take that literally as well. I think some people are really looking for that kind of thing. And I said to you about all the the fossils that we have got. It's amazing to have fossils, because fossilization is a very difficult process. But to have any fossils is quite amazing, and we have got them, and you know that. And you've been to museums as well. And anybody can check out my channel, and you can see quite clearly that God and Jesus4U, Christian, believes in evolution. And I would put my hand on my heart and say, because of the information and the understanding of your own mind, how I try to inform you of things, and and to go up, look at different references in medical journals, for instance. I've picked up some good ones for you in the past. Someone, obviously E. coli, for instance, has been achieved, and we've seen evolution happen under our very eyes, etc. Now, again, you can check out my videos on pathogens, etc., and viruses. Obviously, I've got videos on here on evolution, simply biology, so you can check those out as well. But when a creationist, you're quite, I wouldn't say a hard-line creationist, but you had the same kind of fundamental ideas as those insane lunatics that think that the Earth's only 6,000 years old and evolution's impossible because everything's created perfectly. And being from a biological background, which that's just total bollocks. I'm sorry, it is. Things have to change. They have to adapt. If they don't become extinct, otherwise, if you just say it like this, you believe. Just say the Earth was 6,000 years old. That means on day 1, God created 3 billion species. On day 2, hey presto, 99.9% of them are all dead. You have to believe that, and that's just fucking insane. I'm sorry. That is not how life. I mean, let's take salmon for instance. Just a gene pool of salmon. The variation in salmon, there's lots of variation. You're talking, nearly 100,000 years just for salmon mutations that's happened between them. Okay, it's back to the old, but there's still salmon. But there's still a lot of variation, and mutations cannot happen that quickly because the species wouldn't be able to keep up with the rate of mutation and the variation, and it would, the cells just can't keep up with the living system, and it would just collapse and would go into extinction very soon. So, which goes totally against how evolution works. But you're happy to accept evolution, and I'm really, really happy you do. I don't believe in God because, like I said, there's no God known to man that knows far more about biology than man himself. Loz 2010. That's my statement I've made recently, and someone's actually used that at work, which is quite funny. But other questions you had was around young Earth creationists, and I've discussed that whilst doing this video already. But I'm glad you don't think down those lines, because obviously you're being a Christian and you accept God and the evolutionary process as part of God's plan, or whatever the process He put into play. I've said in my videos before, I kind of quite welcome that kind of aspect of theistic evolution, because I just want people to accept the evidence and the facts that support the theory of evolution. But for me personally, I think evolution makes God redundant. I really do. God's definitely got his P45 because all natural processes are in place. There's no need for an overall grand designer, because to accept that overall grand designer and everything's designed so perfectly, as the young Earth creationists keep stating, then you've got to believe that God also creates these tiny little microorganism parasites that can only live in human eyes and basically eat away at the little tiny cells that our eyes are made out of, and make people go blind, have serious infection, and it can spread to parts of the brain and cause serious disease and death. So you have to accept that. I mean, it's totally insane to believe that. Things co-evolution for a reason. Some things are beneficial and some things aren't. Some mutations are beneficial and some aren't. That's the way life is. But what life is very clever, is the ones that can't see. The microscopic life. The tiny little microorganisms. That's are far more lethal, far more clever than us humans. But anyway, I think that kind of sums our conversations up over the past. But I haven't got a lot of time. I'm quite busy. I've got to do some research stuff at the moment. But if you do drop me a line, I'll try and answer it. But please be aware that I am quite busy. But I'm really, really glad that your evidence for myself that's taken on board. The information I've shown you. You've gone to speak to your own doctor, your close family friend or something, you said, and you've spoke to him about evolution, and he also backed up the things I said to you. And you went to museums. I can't remember which museums you went to, but you went to some museums. Natural History Museum, I can't remember which one you went to, and you were shown lots of mammalian, reptilian fossils. Correct, but there's the thing about paleontology. some have different views on what things are, and some, but at the end of the day, you know, they both agree, no, this is more mammalian than reptilian. Oh no, this is more reptilian than mammalian. But the fact is, there's your transitional species right there, you know. You got a reptile with the kind of mammal teeth. You don't have reptiles with mammal teeth. You don't have birds with teeth either. Obviously, you do get the very, very strange throwbacks in evolution provides, and your chickens are born with teeth. We do know that. But you've seen the evidence now. You've gone to the museums, like I've said. And I really, really am pleased that you've had your eyes open to the evidence. But anyway, thank you for paying attention for this long, and please feel free to comment. Thanks for watching. Lots.